Welcome to the Pressure Beast Podcast.
Because some of us actually like being under pressure.
All right. Welcome back. Pressure Beast Podcast, episode 3.
Yes,
3.
episode 3.
Wow.
We're seasoned now.
Getting there.
Yeah, we're like salt and pepper.
Professionals.
Ooh, don't go too far. That's a stretch.
What are we talking about today?
Current topics.
Okay.
Yeah. Current topics. We got Melissa blowing in the Jamaican islands.
Melissa is quite a blower.
Yeah, that's what I heard. The talk of the town.
Yes.
Yeah, she blows houses down, evidently. It's like,
It's pretty wet, too.
wow, that's I wasn't expecting that one, but evidently I could see how that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Takes care of a lot of people at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamaicans are pretty resourceful. I'm sure they'll be able to
Be careful with what we say. It's difficult.
My wife and I were actually in a small Hurricane 1 in Belize at one time.
Yeah.
And it was a little nerve-wracking, but the nerve-wracking part was the damn coconuts and avocados and all the fruit in the tree would fall and hit the buildings. They all had metal roof, and it sounded like a cannonball hitting the roof. And I mean, you hear the wind and boom, it's just, anyway, a little nerve-wracking. But
Giant hill.
what I found interesting was basically it's a mountain island or, in that area, but the water sheds really easily. So it's not like here in Houston area where the water kind of puddles and floods. It sheds pretty quickly. So they don't have the flooding like we do stateside.
So I know right now it's in Cuba. I think Cuba's pretty mountainous, so it should have the same type of thing. I don't know about Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica, so I don't know what the...
Been in Jamaica a couple times. Love Jamaica.
Is it a mountainous or is it...
One love. Yes, very much so. They like to farm things out there.
You know what really surprised me is Jamaica only had or maybe Cuba, I don't know, 13-foot storm surge. A storm that big, you would think the storm surge would be a lot bigger.
Because the shelf, I think, drops off quicker.
It might.
So that way,
we get
I'm a
13-foot storm
geologist.
surges.
I'm not even a geologist. I'm a weather guy on the side.
Hey,
Yeah.
meteorologist.
Yeah, one of those two.
I am one of those.
You are?
Yeah, I got certified back in Kansas.
I got a sticker. But I think the shelf, when it comes up, that shelf puddles that water up higher. But if the shelf's lower, it just kind of, the waves are smaller, I guess.
That makes
my
sense.
thought. Yeah. So,
Good place to go scuba diving.
yes, it's very beautiful to go scuba diving there. Very beautiful.
I want to do that. I want to go scuba diving.
I enjoyed the excitement of scuba diving, but being colorblind, the colors weren't as rich. And my wife kept having to kind of point out, like, look at that over there. And, it kind of like blended in grays and camouflage. And I don't know if maybe that's just where I was at. And everything
Right.
was kind of more pale color as opposed to maybe like somewhere that's a lot more colorful. But I did notice that the color difference was unique for me, So, and I've always wanted to kind of maybe talk to someone else that has the red and green colorblind and see if they had the same experience.
You ever tried those contacts or glasses that show you?
No, there's a gentleman out of New York that I did talk with a couple years back, and I guess he's a leading expert. You apply it to him, and it's a whole day event, and he fine tunes it and gets you some colors and contacts and glasses and all that. But it was relatively low expensive back then. It was like 10 grand, but they weren't a daily thing. It was more of to pass tests, like policemen, firemen, and people that should not be colorblind doing their job.
Right.
And it was kind of or that's the way I interpreted it.
I don't know. A lot of people say police should be colorblind, but
right. So what else is going on in today's world? Trump's overseas.
is he?
Yeah, kicking ass in Asia. Made a kick-ass deal with Japan. Their market last night was up like tremendously.
No shit. It's probably a little dance he did. I saw he did a little dance in Malaysia or something.
Yeah, it was great.
He improved upon his Trump shuffle.
Yeah, he's supposed to meet with Chinese Jinping. Really? He got caught on a hot mic about a 3 to 4 hour meeting with him, and he's all excited. He's got some goodies in a bag to offer up to China. So I guess we're going to offload some soybeans.
They can have all of them.
I agree.
I know industry-wise it's good for us, but health wise?
Sure, if you're a soybean farmer, for all you soybean farmers out there, congrats. But yeah, I'm not a big soy guy.
So where I used to live in Kansas, they built a big old soybean processing plant out there. And it's funny because after the soybean plant got up and running, I guess there's a lot of byproduct from the soybean. So they processed it through the plant, and then they built a dog food manufacturing company right next door where the leftover soy goes straight to the dog food plant. And then from there, part of it goes to dog food, and part of it goes to a biodiesel jet fuel manufacturer.
Interesting.
I didn't know they could make jet fuel out of soybean, but
We probably shouldn't be eating it if you can make jet fuel out of it.
probably not.
You know, a gentleman sent me an article last night. Have you heard about this new flock with the cameras that they're setting up in neighborhoods and stuff?
Just briefly.
I don't know much about it either, but this article basically alluded to a lady got served. Like basically, they said she had stolen a package off another individual's house, and she had to go to great lengths to prove her innocence. Had to go to the court and whole 9 yards. But basically, they thought they had the case wrapped up and shut. But evidently, this flock service is subdivisions, cities can basically put up these cameras, and they can keep track of who's coming in and who's going out, license plate, color of cars,
Right.
registration. Basically, Big Brother in kind of reminds me, I guess, what they were doing over in Europe, or Britain, but in a different level, because I think Britain's more of a monitoring. But anyway, with the technology that we got coming at us in the next couple of years and that surveillance, man, it's going to be kind of unique that.
Yeah, the whole legal aspect of being able to be recorded anytime, day, night, anywhere. NFL stadiums have facial recognition now. So just about a month or two ago, my neighborhood put up those cameras on the entrance and exit. So they know everyone that comes in, everyone that goes out, which, I mean.
What harm is there in that?
If that's all it is, right? If something happens, they say, okay, these are all the people that went in the neighborhood, and these are the people that came out. But anything beyond that, man, I don't like them getting access to the Ring doorbell camera.
Search Party, I believe, is what. I don't know anything about that, but I do see it on my Ring camera app all the time. That is coming.
Because the problem is Ring has a lot of other cameras, right? They don't only have doorbell cameras. They have other cameras that people put inside their houses. So do they automatically get access to every camera that Ring has?
Because we have Ring cameras up here in the office, and we have them in our house and all that. And
right.
Would they have access? I guess they would. If it's the doorbell ones, we've got them inside. So if you come to our office, the police will know. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I didn't even think about the...
Walk around naked in your living room and someone just sitting there eating Cheetos and watching you do whatever you're doing.
OnlyFans. So, but I don't know. I do know that there's some spray you can spray in your license plate, and so supposedly it's like a clear space. So if you're behind the car, you can see it, but at an angle with the cameras. Yeah, I know that the people use it to get past the tollways without having to get paid.
I know China, Japan, somewhere, they have sunglasses that you can wear that do the same thing for facial recognition software. I know they started out with face shields, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're trying to cover your face if you have a face shield on. But now I think it's just a pair of glasses that you wear that reflect the light or refract the light enough that it isn't able to pick up your facial recognition.
So I've always found the speed radars we have in our car, what do they call them?
Speedometers?
No, you're driving down the road and cops down there with the radar. And
the radar, laser.
Radar. I've always found that uniquely interesting that those are legal. I know they're illegal in certain states, but you actively are trying to evade the police in their investigation of speeding.
Oh, you're talking about the little radar detectors. Yeah.
So I've always wondered going forward with the facial recognition and all that, are they going to outlaw any device that would prevent the facial recognition? I think that's going to be a neat conversation when we head down the road, because obviously everything is going to be recorded.
Right. And they're going to have to outlaw it because people like Europe and where they're going to more of a social
credit score.
Yeah. What you can do is based on how well you fit into society.
Yeah. Behavioral profile.
Yeah. If you talk shit about the president, then you're going to be, can't go get your morning latte, you know. Better watch out.
Yeah. Don't need to be messing that up.
Yeah. Anytime we go more electronic, digital, more and more freedoms get taken away, more and more.
I have no issue with facial recognition or anything that in public. Right. Where I do draw the line is like retina scans and stuff like that, where they got your, your inside your body, so to speak. I don't know if they've got the technology to be able to do that now from a exterior point of view. Most retina scans, you got to kind of put your eyeball up there.
Right. I'm sure they can do it from a distance now. Hell, we got talking about current topics. Trump keeps blowing up all the drug running boats, the go fast boats.
Is that why it's getting a little slim on the streets?
It is. Yeah. It's getting a little rough out there. But I read an article that they have satellites that can essentially pinpoint down to the size of a baseball from space. If you can get that type of clarity from space, you can get a retina scan from across the room.
I'm all for blowing up the boats.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Obviously there's nothing else those boats are doing other than running drugs. I know they're trying to say they're out there water skiing and shit, but no one water skis at 125 miles an hour.
I think there's a side effect from this that I think they're trying to portray that I think most people miss. From a military perspective, if you can hit a teeny tiny little dot in the middle of the ocean, that's traveling pretty fast with absolute certainty and clarity, we're not missing.
No.
The level of technology it takes to have that thing whack that, it's not putting off a huge heat signature. You know what I mean? So from a military standpoint, I think it's almost kind of telling the rest of the world, man, look, this is, how many other...
Target practice.
Yeah, how many other countries in the world can, pull that off?
I don't know.
I think it's like 8 boats now or 12 boats. I don't know.
It's all from drones, from what I understand.
So the drone's flying,
aircraft.
moving, it's hitting a moving target. A small moving target. I find it absolutely impressive that we got the technology to blow those things out of the water.
Venezuela doesn't like it, but apparently we had to send a carrier strike group down to the Caribbean, which, I was on a carrier. I would have loved to just float around the Caribbean for a while, but...
No, you don't.
No?
No, I did that.
A lot better than the freaking Persian Gulf.
We floated around Cuba, which is basically Caribbean down in that area, and Haiti for months at a time. We're just doing, I was on an amphibious carrier doing what they call gator squares. And, man, it's kinky. It was not kinky. Not at all. It was literally making squares in the, basically, I don't know, a couple mile squares, just keeping the boat idle. You know what I mean? A lot of times we just sit, you know what I mean? And the unique thing is sometimes that water out there would be like glass. It was just so unique. You're out in the ocean and it's just glass.
Yeah. I've only seen that, I think once or maybe twice. There's a lot of interesting shit. The first time I got on the ship, I just went to one of the catwalks and was looking over, and we were over in the Mediterranean somewhere and saw this bird fly across and then dove down into the water and never came back up. Like, motherfucker, that bird just committed suicide. And here comes another one. Turns out they were flying fish. Like, I didn't know they actually went that far out of the water. I figured it was just a fish jumping. But yeah, no, it looked like a damn bird flying by and then going down into the water. And then another one was the bioluminescent.
Oh, those were cool. I liked that, especially on a really dark night.
Yeah,
that was really neat.
But you know what? We never got to do. At least I never got to take part in it. If they did it, I kind of worked down in the belly of the beast and
bowels of the.
Yeah, never got to see daylight, but never got all the lights turned off, so you can see the uninterrupted stars.
I was talking to a gentleman the other day that was actually in the Navy, and we were talking about that same thing. It was neat because there were some nights that it was so pitch black. I mean, you could not see your hand in front of your face. It was complete total darkness. And then there were some nights that were darkness, but you could see the Milky Way like you see in pictures and all. It was gorgeous. And we'd lay it out on the flight deck and count the shooting stars, and you get up to 50, 60 in the evening. Or couple hour stretch. And yeah, it was amazing.
It's all satellites now, man.
Like we saw at your house in Kansas. That was a trip.
So I looked there last week, and it just means satellites that there are stars out there now.
That's crazy.
Elon's definitely staying busy.
Launching them.
Yeah.
Launching them.
We were talking about the other day, there's a cheaper way to launch them now, I think.
With the centrifugal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they actually launched them out of the rocket centrifugally. They start spinning that rocket, and it spits them out like a Pez dispenser.
The SpaceX ones? Yeah, the satellite trains.
Yeah.
Man, the first time I ever saw that, I thought we were getting invaded by aliens.
In fact, our Aubrey over there, you and I and Aubrey, the first time you guys went up to Kansas, I remember laying out in the back of your truck and looking up and seeing those things, and we're
Yeah.
like, and then they split and went different directions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that ain't.
It's just strange. Industry experts in what they do, it's impressive to see the launches and the satellite technology and all that they have. But it's one of those things. We're experts in the pressure vessel world, things of that nature. Just the thought of getting to that point in a whole different industry is monumental.
And they're probably just as comfortable in their own skin as we are with the ASME codes. To us, other people probably marvel at our understanding of the codes, and we marvel at others at their experience and stuff. But yeah,
Right.
I can imagine trying to figure out the gravitational pull on a satellite, and they have to adjust their clock. I mean, it's rocket scientists.
It is.
Right?
And you know what? We have a code book that we kind of go by,
Right.
argue with, follow, whatever the case may be, but they really don't.
Interpret. I never
At
thought
least
about that.
they might not. I don't know. I don't know anything about that industry or realm.
I bet you NASA kind of sets the foundation of safety requirements, and I guess that implies the inherent code that you got to get to that point. Like basically the high mark, right? Here's the end result you have to have, and I'm sure there's a, you can't have a single point failure. You got to have so many redundant backups and stuff to
Right.
eliminate those kind of things. So,
But from my understanding, when SpaceX started, he made a real big point that he wasn't hiring NASA engineers.
I remember that. I do remember that because it came with their good and bad habits, but their
Bad habits or
I also think there's a lack of urgency in certain government
NASA?
departments, right?
Absolutely.
Their goal is to get it right, regardless of cost.
Which
I think they do a great job.
they do a great job.
I mean, in the history of the NASA program, I think they do a great job as far as eliminating errors. It's never going to be perfect, but for what they've accomplished and what they've done in the space station and all that kind of stuff, when it's your own money on the line, urgency's a name of the game. You're going to run out of money. NASA's not going to run out of money.
But the philosophy difference of SpaceX intentionally destroys shit to figure out how it works and how to better it. NASA wants to get it right the first time without ever destroying shit. And I think that's the issue, right? So their testing goes small scale, computer, things of that nature, is where SpaceX, they build it and test it.
Right.
Which is a lot faster learning curve than trying to think of every possible outcome that could happen. And
Do you remember when SpaceX came to us back in 2013, 2014? They wanted us to build that 10,000 PSI vessel, but not the kind of
not follow code.
not follow code. And they wanted it a lot thinner than what it probably should be.
Right.
But the reality is, if you strip that 3.5 safety factor out of there, you get down to a 2-to-1 or something like that. I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And more of an engineering versus a,
Yeah, it's definitely engineered component versus the code
design
safety
formula
factor.
So,
Which, you can't have a space shuttle with a 3-to-1 safety factor, and it'd be too heavy, too
right.
cumbersome, it just wouldn't work.
Right. And we were like, I don't know about that. I think we politely said no at that time.
We declined it at that time. I think right now I'd take it now.
Oh, absolutely. We got the FEA capabilities.
Yeah,
we got flow capabilities, and to be able to
Toolbox is a lot bigger.
Toolbox is a lot larger. And I remember thinking at the time that Texas is probably one of the few states that could do that in, because we don't have pressure vessel laws here in Texas. So the ability to build something and not have it code rated is absolutely an option here in Texas, right? And when we were building those vessels for NOV back in the day that were, out in the oil patch, they were all non-code vessels.
Yeah.
They were kind of pushing, and they weren't pushing the limits, but,
They definitely pushed the code limits, dropped that safety factor quite a bit.
Right.
From 3.5 to 1 to whatever it is. But for a cheap, down, dirty vessel that they're going to probably leave on site, and
You get a couple months use out of it.
I mean, there's no
Send it
need
to some
for
junkyard.
It's not going to be reused several times,
Right.
Unless someone refurbishes it, sells it. Which I'm surprised that market's not a lot bigger.
We have I forget the name of the company right down the street. They basically go in and buy all the old vessels and set them in the junkyard. And when I was in AI, one of the companies I had down the street from them, someone would go in there and need a vessel, and they said, well, we need 3 more nozzles, and they just put 3, amp it in there and hydro test it. So yeah, that was a pretty big market. If I remember correctly, he was talking about they did almost like $1 million a month in used vessel sales.
Really?
Yeah. I'm obviously market conditions, ebbs and flows. When he told me that, I was just like flabbergasted. And they're paying pennies on the dollar for these, they're mothballing tearing down a whole facility, and
Right.
it's either throw them in the dumpster or
Yeah, I
get a
know
couple
the
bucks for
facilities. A company comes out and does tear down the whole refinery, whole plant.
I don't know what happens to oil patch vessels that
I'm sure
get
they
burnt up.
end up the same way. Someone
them
buys
around.
them cheap and turns them around. And
I wonder if there's a big market for non-code vessels, used non-code vessels. That'd be risky.
that would be.
There's really no.
You don't even know what it was
foundation.
designed to. You don't know if it was welded by a qualified welder. You don't. I mean,
There's
nothing.
No data report.
Nothing. Yeah. Like going up to Wyoming or Idaho, ain't no boiler or pressure vessel laws.
Well, there's no people up there either.
True. The 3 people up there might get hurt if something happens, but a lot of buffalo. And yeah, still amazing me though. Today's day and age, there's no boiler laws up there. I understand pressure vessel laws. Pressure vessels, you don't see the industrial accidents with pressure vessels. If you do, it's all human error. Very few and far between do you have a mechanical failure of a pressure vessel. It's
would agree.
overpressurization, or it's, tagging out the wrong valve, something of that nature, the human error. But you don't just see them failing. Boilers, on the other hand,
That's a different story.
they have a lot of mechanisms that could fail. Your water level indicators, things of that nature, all of that could fail. And cause
Well, you got compressed steam. I mean, that's,
Yeah. that, and you got a
vessels might not necessarily have that kind of pressure in general. The bigger ones do. But
yeah. So the
pressure
issue with boilers is the rapid expansion of
Right.
of the steam. Right. You don't typically get that with pressure vessels. So when you have a hot boiler and you add cold water into it, and it flashes all that instantly.
Yeah.
That's when shit hits the fan. But most pressure vessels don't have a capability of flashing.
No.
You need liquid due to heat.
And on top of that, even without the jurisdictional rules, you still got the insurance policies, right? So if a company's going to go in there and insure that unit, facility, company, I'm sure they do their due diligence to be able to verify that PRV valves are set properly, and they got the tooling to be able to relieve the pressure in the event of an overpressurization.
Yeah.
So
Man, talking about insurance, that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about the industry. Industry
right.
is the authorized inspection agencies being
Insuring
the
their boiler
items that they're
items.
inspecting. The amount of times that as an inspector I was told, "Hey, it's all right, y'all are insuring
you are
this."
insuring it. Yeah.
Like, no, we're not. We're just third party. There is no insurance behind what we do at all.
Yeah.
And
Hartford was created from the Sultan explosion over off the Mississippi River.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what created Hartford, was that Sultan accident. And then from there, the Brockton Shoe Factory basically pushed the 3 gentlemen to start what we now know as ASME. But yeah, these accidents were whacking people, and
a lot of
figure
people
out
too.
a way. National Board came around and figured out a way to, isolate the bad actors and the falsifying of the equipment and stuff like that.
Right. Really, the outcome was make it safe enough for stupid people to operate. So that's where we're at, right? Is we have such big safety factors in it because of the human error in the operations. Whether it be the steel making or anything else. That's where we're at, man. That's the industry, is we're safeguarding against stupid people.
Right. I guess natural selection is just not in class anymore. We're gonna protect them and
remove the safety labels and let the world work itself out, man.
We would probably have a little bit less problems. We'd probably be a little bit better off if old-fashioned way of learning the hard way.
Right.
What not to do.
The population pool would get a lot stronger.
Right.
How long do you think before the first boiler has AI integration?
Ooh, interesting.
It's all automated now.
I was gonna say it's automated, but I don't know what the AI would do.
Or maybe not
Make
boiler,
some
but whole
steam whistle
system,
sounds or
right?
something. I don't know.
Whole refinery, nitrogen plant, something of that nature that has operators. But a typical plant has multiple
I could
operators.
see from a standpoint of something going wrong to where it could take over and start shutting valves and opening valves and isolating equipment immediately. But I don't know that they don't already have that. You know what I mean?
They have fail safes. I know
could
that.
have fail safes like that.
But I don't think
If
it's
something
AI.
were to be, no, it wouldn't be AI. To me, the AI would do what they already do, but just probably faster. Now, I could see probably an AI in a nuclear facility being a little bit more advantageous.
Ooh, that's a scary thought.
Well, I mean, that documentary about 3 Mile Island and stuff like that, a lot of it was they were just scratching their head trying to figure out what is wrong, how to fix it. It's, you're in a stressful situation.
Right.
Your brain's not thinking properly, and you're in the middle of a nuclear plant.
You got some guy in the corner with ChatGPT.
Right. I could see an AI in a nuclear plant for something that went wrong. It would just, all right, this is what we're doing. Here's what we got. Here's the data we got coming in. Here's what we're going to do. And that can calculate that quicker than we could ever think about.
Right.
So from that standpoint, yeah.
But monetarily, if you could replace every operator, every console board operator in a plant, and you just have people out there turning valves.
Yeah.
And you can even automate the valves at that point.
Come on, Optimus. He'll be turning valves out there.
Oh, was that the Tesla robot?
Yeah.
You can see a bunch of them out
Elon,
there.
I'd like to get on the waiting list, please. Take 2.
We need a demo.
I'll tell you one thing. I am so excited for that Optimus robot. I just am giddy that waiting for it to come. I just think in the reality of the world, in the world we live in, progress, you can't stop progress. The best you can do is slow it down. And the only way you truly can slow it down is in the event there is a major accident and the public pulls back, right? Kind of like nuclear energy, right? We have the nuclear accidents at 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl and stuff.
Right.
The public pulled back. They said, oh, okay, wait a minute. But that's on a large scale, right? We're talking about robots. Of course, we got the movies that kind of depict
Terminator, man, it was pretty straightforward what's going to happen. But
I just think that the way of the future, that these robots are coming, and there's just not anything. You're either going to accept it or fight it, and if you fight it, then you're just going to be behind the curve and making your own sandwiches,
just like cell phones or anything else.
Right.
It was.
They're talking about
$20,000 and $30,000 for a robot.
Oh man, in the scheme of things, for what you're talking about, I think that's a great value for what we're going to get. Because I think, truthfully, especially in the first couple of years, I think they could charge a lot more for those things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you think they're really going to come out with a $15,000, $20,000 price point for the first round?
Yeah, I think they could be able to mass produce those to where the cost is relatively. Because first of all, you're going to have robots building robots, and now you're looking at really manufacturing cost and inventory cost and product cost, cost of goods sold, right? So the aspect of it, and we're trying to talk about building that many of them, millions, do believe they can get that price point down to a reasonable, kind of like Henry Ford, right? It's no different than what Henry Ford did with the Model T, right? He made so many of them and brought it to everyone's house.
Right.
So,
Along
but
with
before
the,
that, cars
5-day
were
work week.
just, before, right? Now we're trying to go to the 4-day work week. But man,
Man.
little plug for Elon, man. Hats off to you. But yeah, please put me on that list.
Yeah.
For 2.
I love the idea. I love the concept. But going back to the original topic of discussion of monitoring and cameras and things of that nature, this thing has AI. It's got a camera in it, obviously, because it's got to be able to see.
I'm okay with
And
that. I really
walking
am.
around your house the fear in the question is what or who can access that and what can they do with that information? If you kill somebody and there's a Optimus robot right there watching it, can he, testify in court?
I think the video would be able to stand, but I don't think the robot itself would be able to testify. But I think they could pull the video, right? Which I think would be a good thing. If you're guilty, you're guilty, right? If it's self-defense, it's self-defense. And then from that nature,
Right.
let justice be served. So from that aspect, I mean, when we get down to it, we've already got that in our house. We just, I don't think, are as aware of it. When they came out with the Roomba vacuum that rolls around, that thing's got cameras in it, and it could go back. We got Alexa,
more of a mapping.
and Series, and we've already got these things, right? So now it's just probably going to be a little bit more aware. But I think the benefits from it, and I don't know how true this is, but I read somewhere that they're going to start with probably like nursing homes. And
Ooh, man.
I
that
think
would
that's a great
freak them
idea.
out.
I've got a 3 very good friends that work at a kind of a high end retirement living center, and then they also kind of got more of a nursing home portion to that. And hearing stories from them and people with dementia and stuff like that, it'll be interesting, especially with the older generation and these robots. But again, it's coming. You're either going to, it's like the internet, right? You're either going to accept it and figure out how to use it to your benefit, or you're not. I know some elderly individuals that are deathly afraid to even use Amazon Prime. And it's just one of those things that it's like they've allowed their fear in technology to affect their life to the point that, I mean, my gosh, who doesn't order Amazon nowadays?
Dude.
I mean, I've got to where I order, shoot, man, we damn near barely go to the grocery store anymore. You order groceries, you order food, you order Amazon. I just order some Q-tips. I was out of Q-tips. I love Q-tips. And I was like, hey, I got a pack of Q-tips coming today. I feel guilty that, you got all the, I don't like all the packaging and all that comes with it. But the point is,
getting better.
It is getting better. But the point is the technology is here. And these robots are just going to revolutionize that. In 10, 15 years, we're not going to see the difference between growing up in, like, say, the 70s and 80s without the cell phones, without the technology, as opposed to a kid growing up nowadays. The difference is night and day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? To have a cell phone that you can ask any question in the world and get an answer. You know what I mean? Back then we had to go.
And most people watch cat videos.
Right.
Yeah. So the trend, though, is we're getting closer and closer to this socialistic 5-minute city where you don't have to leave. You don't have to have a vehicle. You don't have to leave a 5-minute radius of your house.
Kind of like being on an aircraft carrier?
I like an aircraft carrier.
Right,
Just
okay.
a lot.
How'd that work out?
Not great, but I mean, got to see the world.
Right.
I mean, I don't think our
take the
5-minute
good,
cities
right?
here are going to travel to the Mediterranean or anything, but but Tesla coming out with cyber taxi. I want a fleet of them. They could go drop the
just
kids
makes
off
sense.
at school, pick them up, and go work in the meantime. Hell, you could send your Optimus robot to go pick stuff up from the store for you in your cyber taxi.
You don't need to because it'll just be delivered.
Yeah, but
You don't need your robot out there getting humped by another robot.
dude,
have
why
some
are you going to
road
pay all the
street-
delivery fees and everything else if you already have the car and the robot?
True.
It's the delivery fees that are the issue.
You know what is
All
going to
of
be
it.
the next? If you're an entrepreneur out there, you want to make some money, start making clothes for these robots. That's going to be the next big thing. We're going to be dressing these damn things up, putting clothes on these things. You're going to have gangster robots. You're going to have business suit robots. You're going to have Barbie doll robots.
Masks on them.
Yeah, because, they might get COVID.
Yes.
So the counter argument is like, okay, we're going to lose jobs. Like, people are all going to lose these jobs. And
I don't think that's a valid counter argument.
I don't think so, because
all through history,
every technology is replaced jobs, and we still need more people.
because those industries need. This one's a little bit different though, in the fact that we don't need a bunch of people to build the robots, in that the robots can build themselves. So we're not. I think this one's fundamentally different than every other technology that we've ran across so far in humanity. But
I would agree with that, absolutely.
we're going to come to a point where we have to have a universal pay, and we have to, because there aren't going to be, if we can pay $20,000 and get a robot that can damn near work 24/7, or we pay 4 times that and get an employee.
4 robots.
Or we pay an employee 4 times that, they can only work a fraction of that time. It's obvious everyone's going to go with the robot.
A lot of our great leaders, like Elon, has talked about this subject of universal income. And I agree. I think it's probably something that's going to have to come. But the question is going to be, how do we do this on a global scale? And then does that tie into some kind of one world order? Because granted, the United States is still the consumption leader, right? Our economy is still red hot and is going to be. What happens to the other countries? So I believe Elon's not going to be selling these robots for several years. He's going to allow the United States to kind of have first run at them.
Right.
But fast forward 20 years. Yeah. Now we're talking about probably some kind of, how are we going to do this on a global scale? That's going to be the interesting, because now, is everyone going to be taxed throughout the world and just one big pool of money and everyone kind of gets it divvied out, or is it going to be per country?
It's got to be per country. There's already countries right now that have a universal pay. I think Europe.
I know Alaska gets revenue from their oil.
The oil companies are good stewards of the land. It's just the national parks and everything.
Those oil guys.
Most oil companies are just like most hunters are good stewards of the whatever they're hunting. Most oil companies are good stewards of the land because they want to be able to go in and do what they want to do. Alaska was just smart enough to monetize it, in the fact that even though the citizens of Alaska aren't being affected by it, they're still benefiting from it.
Correct.
But I think that drives up a lot of prices in Alaska too.
And the population's not that
And
overwhelming.
it's way the hell out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. What I think is going to happen is companies are going to be taxed differently for employing a robot, right? So a lot of unions have already got it put in place that they can't bring in basically a robot and replace someone's job. Now, if that job is now vacant and open, they can replace that with automation.
Right.
So they can't just go in and wipe everybody out. Unions might have a little bit different protection in this, but I believe that if for every robot you have that can work 24 hours or longer, and your labor costs are going to be so much less that the government's going to step in and say, okay, for every robot you have, you're going to be taxed at a higher level for that robot's capacity. And then that tax on that robot is going to help offset the universal income.
I mean, that's the only way it's going to. Otherwise, if people aren't working, where's the tax going to come from? It's got to come from the companies,
Employers.
at that point. But how long before the robots unionize, become sentient, and say, no, we don't want to work. We want to work 4 days a week. We want.
That's when you get really good
3
at
months.
writing code.
3 months of maternity leave for their new baby robot that's being built.
Who got my robot pregnant? That's what I want to know. That's a different type of robot.
That's a different.
I think we call those
topic.
dolls.
Dolls.
Dolls. I saw a doll the other day on a TikTok video that I think they called it the end of humanity. This doll looked and appeared to be pretty damn real.
Was it an actual video or was it AI generated? Because honestly, man, it's getting so hard to tell nowadays if it's AI generated or
that's
not.
the sad thing that we're going to run into. I told you about I saw that Biobi stilt thing and I was so excited. I'm like, this is a great piece of machinery. I don't need one, but I was like, damn.
Well, there you go. Entrepreneurs build hydraulic stilts that.
I just thought, man, this would make a really freaking cool Halloween costume. Can you imagine me sitting there, next thing you push a button, you just get 7 feet tall?
Yeah.
How many kids I can scare? Goodness, that was a wonderful idea. But it ended up being AI generated. So this doll, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But even if it was AI generated, I don't think the technology to make one of those damn things would be that hard.
No.
Speaking of that, city council stepped in, but it was a unique question, right? So here in Houston, several years ago, a gentleman wanted to open a brothel. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
With
dolls.
With dolls.
They didn't allow it to.
They did not. I
don't understand that one. What?
It's a unique situation,
But it stops a lot of sex trafficking. Should,
I didn't
right?
even think about that side of it.
It's a victimless, other than the poor person that has to clean the dolls. But there's not much downside other than the degradation of humanity in the aspect of it, right? There's no victims. It helps keep sex trafficking down.
Or would it increase it?
I don't think so for dolls, but I don't. As long as they're not AI, I don't think they're going to
I'm
really
just
care
saying,
too
if you
much.
feed if someone has a fetish that turns into a habit, that turns into an obsession, that turns into a need, and then you can kind of make the argument with drugs, right? Basically going from a softer issue to a very harder issue. And if you're able to get your satisfaction from a doll, at what point is that not enough that you're going to move into, I guess, prostitution? I guess would be your next question. But
I don't know. I don't know if that would be the trajectory of it. You know, that there's a lot of
the average person that would probably go visit that brothel is probably not your average person. The stigma to be like, what are you doing this afternoon? Well, I'm going to go down to the brothel and bang a doll. The stigma associated with that would be probably something you want to be kept in private.
nowadays, man, there's not much difference in the stigma of going to a cat house.
It is interesting, and I don't know. It's very interesting, but I think I just watched a movie the other day. I'm trying to think of the movie. Basically, the guy gets put into some kind of sleeping machine and shit goes wrong, military thing, and he wakes up in the future, and then he's in like one of the smartest men in the world, but everyone else is so dumb, and everyone's just sexually orientated and advertised. It was, I'll think of the movie here in a minute. It was an okay movie, but to kind of let you know that in that sense, that as we go forward into, time, humans degrade, not increase. Like, we've had a glorious come from, the dark ages to today has been a very great slope up.
But I think electronics is the catalyst of degradation of humans, right? So up until we got handheld or electronics, computers, TVs, things of that nature, the growth was always upwards. Bullying was allowed, and it allowed.
Can you blow that up a little bit? Yep, that's it right there.
Now
That's the movie.
Idiocracy.
Yes. That was, my wife was not a fan. About halfway up, she got up and was like, the dude became president. Because they were,
Think about it, man.
they were feeding the plants basically Coca-Cola, but it wasn't Coca-Cola, it was some other juice. But he was like, why don't we put
without the
water?
cocaine.
Why don't we put water on the plants? And then they grew plants because water was only used for the toilet. They didn't drink water anymore.
Think about it, man. If you went the way of Walt Disney and you went cryo frozen for 150, 200 years, think about waking up in 200
awesome.
years.
I would love to do that.
How much more knowledge of basic. Think about someone from 200 years ago and the life skills that they have. They can farm, they can take care of animals, they can build their own houses, all of the shit you need to survive that none of us know now. So think about in 200 years from now, when AI is doing everything, robots are doing everything, you don't know how to drive, you don't know how to do anything. You're literally just going to think about something and it's going to happen because everyone's going to have implants in their heads and everything else.
You won't need to do that. Robot?
Right. I'm saying, come back in 200 years and you probably would be president because you'd be the only one that knew how to do
200
anything.
Years, it's going to be like, hey, let's go have lunch on Mars. Maybe not lunch. Maybe let's go vacation tomorrow. I think I'm excited for the future. The technology, I'm all for, but as long as it doesn't turn us into that movie Irakis, but I don't think it will. I've
never seen the movie, but I think it will. But I don't know, man. I don't know if the advancement of technology and, downfall of humanity is the right path, or if we should all go back to doing shit the hard way.
I don't think so.
No?
No. Life expectancy was lower. Health was lower. Life was just harder back then.
Life was harder back then.
Life was a lot harder back then.
Find a middle ground.
No, I mean,
everyone could become Amish now.
I would really be pissed off if I had to pay for long distance phone calls nowadays. I mean, it'd be like, I brought that up to my the other day. They're like, you had to pay for a what? What do you mean long distance phone call? Like, calling grandma, it's $100.
You can talk on night and weekends and after 9.
Right. You hear we're about to get Texas time?
Huh?
Texas time. So that whole issue, I don't know it well enough, but supposedly they did away with the whole daylight savings time and all that kind of crap.
Really?
Yes. Well, Congress voted a while back, and I thought they ended it, but they just keep going with it.
So one of them voted for it. The other one voted against it, something like that.
I was under the impression, maybe fake news, that we were going to end it, right?
No, because I heard Trump a month or two ago talking about it and said, it's 50-50. If it's 50-50, then we don't need to change it.
Interesting. Well, Texas is actually, I think we're voting on the 4th or something like that. But anyway, they're trying to pass a bill to where we're going to be like Arizona, where we're just a standard time. We don't change, and they're going to call it Texas time. I thought, how confusing is that going to be for a Teams meeting? Because they're going to have to add another time zone. I guess they already do it for Arizona, but
but no one does business with Arizona, so it's just hot out there. We used to live in Arizona. We can talk shit about it.
Yeah, that's true.
But can you imagine the people that live close to the border, right?
Which one?
Say you live in Orange and you work in Louisiana.
Well,
you get that time difference between
half a year. You're going to be the same time, and the other half you're not.
Right.
I don't know. I'd be in favor of just staying on a certain time.
I'd be in favor of every time zone in the country
being static. Yeah.
I don't think there's any need for daylight savings time or any of that anymore.
It's all tied to oil, right?
I thought it was tied to farming and.
Well, originally it was tied to candles. So Benjamin Franklin created this to save candles because basically you're further awake and farming, right? You'd be able to start earlier, but the premise was candles. And today we save a lot of barrels of oil because the human is up at a different time and more so for daylight hours. So we're adjusting our schedule, or we're adjusting our time to be more in line with the daylight hours, which saves candles.
Is that really? Mm-hmm. There's no way.
Hey, can you look it up? I'm pretty sure daylight savings time.
Conserve fuel and power by extending daylight in the evening.
Yeah.
During World War I.
No, this is a Benjamin Franklin thing.
And it says the initial implementation during World War I was this effort to reduce fuel usage.
Maybe on a nationwide. But I read a really great biography from about Benjamin Franklin. I might be wrong, but that's what I remember, that Benjamin Franklin had created. Benjamin Franklin frickin' did a lot of things that we use today and all that kind of stuff, but a very, very influential man in history. You know, there's been few of them, you know, but Franklin, Tesla, Elon, you know, Bezos, you know, these guys are just revolutionized the country.
The world.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
yeah, I mean, there are
the titans
dozens or
of the
so
world.
through the history of mankind that just absolutely stand out. And
Kind of, you know, I put Elon and Franklin in the same boat in this context. So Franklin created the lightning rod, and he said this is such a great product that he did not patent it. And he allowed everyone. That's why you can just go make one and you sell one. And from my understanding, Elon hadn't patented many things on his cars. Basically, this is a great thing. Yeah, go use it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's those gentlemen or ladies that can create something and realize the benefit for humanity and then allow the world to have it for free and not be able to make money off it, I think is
well,
I don't think we
make money off of it, but not squash it for public sake. Right. So, like Elon, he's definitely making money off of everything he does, but he's not afraid of a competitor coming in and taking his product and making it better.
Right.
You know, they're running top of their game right now on damn near everything they do.
Right. Couple
Yeah,
shoes, they're not patented either.
You know, interesting fun fact about the shoes. So, where I lived in in Kansas, known for creating the first left and right boot. I guess before that,
Because no one had left or right feet before that. That's
they did not.
They did not. They just had feet.
They just had feet.
Right.
But yeah, they one of their big claims to fame. You know, it's a small town if that's their claim to fame, but they created the first boot that was for left foot or right foot. Before that, they were just all the same shape, and
That's one of those things that when it comes out, everyone in the world goes, wow, why didn't I think of that? You know how nice it'd be to just throw your shoes on and not give a shit which foot goes to which
I mean,
foot?
toddlers do it all day long.
And we pointed out to them, you got your shit in the wrong foot, asshole. You know, and be like, oh, just a kid, you know, like, just a baby.
Is that
Like, shut up and put them on the right foot.
yes, yes, it's exactly how it goes down.
That's why my kids have trouble.
Yeah, you know, it's a
They
simple
go
shit that
they go barefoot.
they do. That's why I saw them downstairs walking around barefoot all the time.
I'm like, you got the sock on the wrong foot.
Oh, don't even get me started with that. Touches the tizzle, man. That you can't. Your socks can't be messed up.
No.
The seam in the sock is crucial.
The what?
Seam in the sock.
I thought you said semen.
No.
I'm like, you're gonna. No, I'm
No.
glad you clarified that.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I
No,
wasn't sure
that
what
was
you
the
were gonna-
previous conversation
I'm
about
not
the
sure
dolls.
what you were
That
going to
was
do
the-
with that sock. With
Yeah, no, that was the previous conversation with the dolls. And so they clean them.
the semen sock.
Oh man.
Well, that's how robots get pregnant.
That's how it happens.
Okay, well, solve that problem.
Yeah.
No semen socks for my robot.
Yeah. No, don't clean them with semen socks.
So the seam in the sock is
The
what
seam. Yeah.
you know, talking about socks, you know what? One of the greatest things I receive most every year is my mother-in-law hand knits me a pair of socks.
Really.
Yes, made out of wool. The greatest gift. Oh, every year.
Do you
Look
wear 'em?
forward to- I do, but I wear them usually towards when it gets colder. But I'm very selective when I wear them because they're such a treasure to me that I
So
just.
it's wool.
I'm pretty sure it's wool. Yeah, they're nice, comfy.
They
I mean,
thick?
like, yeah, they're real thick. So, like, if I go out, you know, the wintertime is when I wear them the most. Or
Yeah.
I try to keep them, you know, in
Pristine.
good shape and stuff like that. But
Keep the
she
semen out of 'em.
jacks with me bad because she'll use these far off, funky colors that are just probably
That you can't
repulsive
see.
to a lot of other people. And then she, you know, makes sure no one in the family tells me what color. And then I have to sit there and guess what damn color this thing is. And rarely do I get it right. And she just laughs and she gets a kick out of it. So I get socks and she gets enjoyment out of my color blindness. So it's a great trade off. But anyway, love the socks. Absolutely love socks. Keep your feet warm. And then they kind of
I
look a
can't
little
do
weird.
thick socks. Like my socks right now. Dress socks,
Oh, those thin ones.
the thin ones with boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way to go, man. I can't do like tube socks with.
With dress shoes, I can do the thin ones, but tennis shoes and all that, I prefer socks.
Nah, I
Actually,
have,
thick socks. I like thick socks.
well, I got for tennis shoes. I use ankle socks, regular ankle socks, but they got to be black, right? I don't know something about the dye, the color, something. My feet sweat so much worse in white socks than they do black socks.
Once you go black socks, you never go back.
Apparently,
Evidently.
my foot got bigger and everything.
That's where that cement sock came in, right?
It's all coming together now.
Right. Complete that circle. What you got in your sock? Big black cement sock.
Oh man, this is taking a turn.
Yeah. Well, it turned.
It turned.
Yeah, kind of like a ship. Took a long time, but some of it's turned around.
We're on sea trials now, man. We're drifting.
No
at this
bow
point.
thrusters on that bad boy. So, I'm still in the pursuit of my wanting a yacht. I say yacht. It sounds impressive, but some kind of nice
yacht.
boat. I mean,
not-
to me,
it's
a
not a
yacht's
John boat.
big
I mean-
boat, big. Like a big, like like a 40, 50 foot boat. They still call it a yacht. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. But still in the pursuit.
Yeah.
You know what Dad used to say?
What's that?
The only two happy moments in a boat owner's life is the day he buys it and the day he sells it.
Yeah.
And that kind of rings in the back of my head that Dad said that throughout our lives, and maybe that's why we never had a boat growing up. But we lived in the desert.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to.
Yeah,
Hard to-
Rio Grande was a little bit dry most of the time.
It was.
Yeah,
People
I'm
jumping
like,
in it all the time trying to get
And
across.
we go out there and have drinks on the water out there in the barge and stuff, and you see all those boats sitting there, and they're just sitting there. It's like,
Oh, man.
I'm like,
Tons of them.
So-
The amount of boats that I've never seen move out of the docks, is
yeah.
insane. I mean, expensive boats too.
I guess if you got the cash,
Yeah. I'm sure it's probably right off for half of them. And then,
Elon, the robots need to be seaworthy because I need
Yes.
to take one on my boat because
Yeah.
that would be really great.
yeah, if I can teach it how to rig the sails on a sailboat,
Oh, that'd be
we're good. Ooh. I don't know how much power it takes to charge one of them.
I don't know.
Can we
If you
put
if
solar
you could
powers
put
on his
a-
back or something? Solar panels?
No, I know they back up into something. They charge pretty much, but I would assume it probably wouldn't be that much. But I just dawned on me, if you could lay a very thin gauge carbon steel layer on top of your deck of your boat, like real thin,
Oh, I see where you're getting.
and then magnetize the bottom of his feet, and then that way you can actually put them on a sailboat, and then that way they could have the technology to be able to release that magnet as they walk and set that magnet when that one's down,
Right.
and then that way that ship rocks, he's not going over, because that would really suck because he probably can't swim.
And you can charge it that way.
Interesting, but then carbon steel on a saltwater environment would paint it.
Yeah, you can paint it.
Or you just have strips, or I don't know, something. I'm just thinking because that'd be pretty cool. Because in my boat, it's not going to rock as much of that sailboat that you want, but
I want to sailboat, man. I want to sail the world.
that would be cool.
Couple year trip. Probably break it up into a couple months at a time, but I don't think my wife wants to go live on a sailboat for 3 years straight.
No, I'm sure
But
she might say you have all the fun you want with you and your cum sock and your robot, and then she's going home.
yes, that's why I want a sailboat. I don't have to wear socks or shoes.
Oh, I can't. I have to wear shoes,
You can't wear shoes on a boat, man.
dude. I'm so flat-footed. I've got to have arch supports, and I'm wearing shoes on my boat.
Just don't take bananas.
I don't even understand why you can't wear shoes on. I mean, I get the scuffing marks. We growing up as kids, you gotta have white soles to play basketball in the gym because you mark up the scuff and all that. But having shoes nowadays, they don't scuff anything. So I just don't get the need.
I think it's more like
wear-
the lake boats where you got to climb in over the seat Like you got to step on the bench in order to get into the boat.
Yeah, but you go to these boat shows and these mega yachts and stuff, they still make you take off your shoes. And I maybe in the situation in a boat show, you got people coming in, they might have shoes that could scar or mark up. But even all these YouTube videos and stuff, they're all, I don't know if it's just a tradition or if there's a need for it that I'm just not understanding.
I don't know.
You know?
Goes the way of bananas, man. You can't take a banana on a boat. It's bad luck.
I heard that too.
Which I remember the aircraft carrier had bananas for breakfast. So, all right. We're going to wrap this one up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. But don't forget to hit the like button. Weld that son of a bitch down. You know, just weld that like button down. Hit that subscribe. You know, maybe arc gouge that.
Arc gouge.
Because that's one of my favorite hobbies. Probably why I need
You're
glasses.
good at it, huh?
Yeah, I'm very good at it. Probably why I need glasses nowadays. Cause
Your safety squints didn't work back then. Huh?
right. Nah, just it wouldn't do it. But anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
All right. Have a good one.
Peace out.